Hey guys, what's up? I mean, Threads is just. ugh, I am a force to be reckoned with on Threads. All these Christians are just going crazy with all this stuff I'm telling them and getting pissed off and blocking me. I've had at least 10 people who, while debating, not just writing a comment then blocking, like while debating them, in the very middle of it, they just disappear out of the thin air. Okay, because A, they're scared, or B, they don't have an argument, or C, all of the above. They're not introduced to this. Churches don't even go over it. They think they're edgy when they know Christmas is pagan. But when I get into Yahweh being Satan aliens, or Jesus saying, "Don't call me Christ," people are just flabbergasted. And I think they're more scared because I'm using the Bible, not some weird opinion or belief. So, anyway, Threads, I've just been like, it's just kind of been giving me a couple more gray hairs. But before all that, I got the game of Avatar, and it is so beautiful. Like, it is the most beautiful open world forest game I've ever played. And people want to say, oh, it's just Far Cry with the Avatar skin. No, it's much, much better than Far Cry, like visually. Like, I played Far Cry 6 and I couldn't finish it, it was so boring. Avatar, I finished in a week. And it's really hard, by the way. It's actually genuinely difficult. Uh, but I just love how you can go on mountains and you can jump off mountains, and then your little Iglor thing, it picks you up in midair while you're like skydiving. I'll just show that in 1 second here. But yeah, this really kind of got me hooked on like new open world stuff. And see, look, you can just kind of jump off and have a nice little view from the sky, and then you don't have to worry because your little flight guy. You just press up on the keypad. He's there to catch you, and I just think that's so cool. I'm a simple man. If I can skydive off a cliff, I'm happy. But anyway, yeah, Avatar is a great game. It was obviously half off, so that's why I got it at this particular moment in time. Yeah, it's just so beautiful exploring Pandora. It's so vast, and then you can get like a horse thing too, not just the flying thing, and just the visuals are so eye-popping. Anyway, enough of advertisement. Threads, my God, what have they made me? Of course, some of these little Christians who think they're all witty and smart with the attitude. They'll say, "Ask Bible questions and you'll get Bible answers. Don't cry when you get an answer you don't like." Man, he really opened up the doors for me on this one. This is a random post. He didn't respond to me either, by the way. He just disappeared. Okay. I said, here's a question. Why does Hosea 13 say Jehovah is like a lion, a leopard, and a bear, while Revelation 13 says the beast is like a lion, a leopard, and the bear? Why does Jesus refute Jehovah 6 times in Matthew 5? Because Yahweh is Satan, not Jesus' father. Hence all the baby killing in the Old Testament. Did I mention Christmas is pagan? You see how I kind of do a full sweep? So I just overload people with truth they haven't heard so they don't know what to say. And it's hard to go point by point if it's the first time you've heard each point. Get my point? I'm not trying to intimidate. Well, maybe I am. I'm just trying to put people like this in their place. Oh, you don't know the Bible. Get answers you don't like. Oh, speaking of answers you don't like, etc. Yeah, and then I just keep kind of pointing this out. This is a fact. I always say reading the Bible makes people Christians. Studying the Bible makes people atheists. This is obviously a skeptic. So I said, unless you understand that the God of the Old Testament was Satan disguised as an angel of light, hence all the evil. You're like, oh, I read the Old Testament, it's so evil. Why would I want to believe in that God? Because it's not God, as we've been going over for years. And then they talk about Jehovah's Witnesses. I said, I'm no Jehovah's Witness, but here's some of the Jesus' words that they're considering when they say Jesus isn't God. Jesus says, "To sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give." So I guess he doesn't have all the authority. "Why callest thou me good? There's none good but one. That's God." So morally, he's saying even God's better than him. And then, "Whosoever shall receive me receiveth not me, but him that sent me." Once again, putting God above him, the Father above the Son, obviously. "Lastly, my Father which gave them me," the predestinate elect, "is greater than all." And people don't like those verses because they think of the Father as the scary Old Testament God who killed kids in Deuteronomy 28, Numbers 31, and Psalm 137. They don't want to believe that guy is Jesus' loving Father. So they're like, well, let me just read Jesus and not think about it. That's what's plaguing our churches today. Let's just not worry about it. Let's just not think about it. Let's only talk about Jesus. Anyway, forget all the killing and the sex slaves and the spoils and the slaughtering of nations. Yeah, that's totally Jesus. Here's where I get a little controversial. They said tampons do not belong in a boys' restrooms, period. I agreed. I said, good point. Having a period should be the true test of one's gender. Can you get pregnant? Do you have a monthly menstrual cycle? Then you're not a female in my eyes, in my opinion. You can have your opinion, I can have mine. If mine offends you, imagine how much your opinion offends me. They get to be offended, we don't. That's the state of the end times we're in. And Nietzsche, Dostoevsky. And then all these people keep copying and pasting threads. They said, why is it I've never heard an atheist criticize Satan, only God? Why is that? It's like the 5th time I've read this. So I said, same reason this is the 5th time I've read this thread. People are shallow. You know, so I just kind of been getting into it, and then all these people responding. At least some of them are open-minded. Then I just love when they tell me to study more, and then I say, so what Hebrew and Greek translations do you prefer? Then they disappear. I'm not trying to be like a know-it-all, but I don't open my mouth unless I do know it. A lot of these people just say, well, I'm sure I know everything, and they think they're an authority. Then I come along and sweep the rug from under them, and then just kind of, turn their whole lives around, but it's for the good. I'm not doing it to be malicious. And that's I think my tone is very much mistaken for the kind of truth I'm espousing. Because I can be pretty sarcastic if you didn't know. I feel like the Gordon Ramsay of textual criticism. My BS meter is just above the charts, and I'm gonna put you in your place if you make me. If we have a respectful conversation and you can understand and zoom out and see what I'm trying to say, then it's a different story. But these days, it's just all the same stuff. Constitution. Trying to say America is a republic, or is a democracy, but it's a republic. A democracy is when the masses can have a majority vote and take away your guns. A republic is where you do have a vote, but there's inalienable rights that cannot be voted away. So no wonder liberals are Democrats, Republicans, and conservative are Republicans, because they know the rights can't be taken away. If you're offended, I don't care. If you don't want me to protect my family with a gun because you're scared of guns, I don't care. They want to make it seem like, it's just a majority vote. No, it's not. God controls Satan, so if Satan is doing it, God's down. Yeah, okay. The boy has an evil spirit. Don't engage it. If our Father doesn't extend his mercy, we both know what his end will be. Of course, I got to reply to that. I said, calling a 37-year-old a boy, meanwhile, that's your literal screen name, Joy Boy. Go learn Hebrew and Greek and get on the same page. When these people come at me, I'm going to come at them back. If they're polite, I'll be polite back. Okay? Like, what's one that I've been going on with for hours? This guy. Yeah, whoever this is. So he said, this is how it started. I learned more reading the Bible for myself in 6 months than I learned at church for 20 years. So I said, did you learn Christmas is pagan and that Yahweh is not Jesus' father? It's like a comedy to me, but it's about very serious topics. See, I'm kind of this weird, I can combine the opposites. I can talk about something really deep in a lighthearted, whatever kind of way. Said, yeah, that's elementary. There's no V in the Paleo Hebrew. So I said, bro, I grew up Jewish. Don't bark up the wrong tree. How's your Greek textual criticism coming along, though? He says, he does know a little Koine Greek, so I was impressed. Good for him. He said, what's your point? How's your understanding of prophecy? So I said, catch up to my 17 years of videos and see for yourself. It's elementary, dear Watson, that word you like. I'm not going to read the whole thread, but that's kind of how it goes. But then I'm starting to kind of freak him out. Said, well, I guess you don't know. What is 17 years, making fun of my YouTube that I've been here. Not that these people ever go on my YouTube. They're just on threads all day. They never look up anything I said. So I said, yeah, so I guess you don't know Jehovah's a lion, a leopard, and the bear, blah, blah, blah. He said, there's no Hebrew name Jehovah, smiley face. Actually, I said, Hosea 13:4 says, Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, home slice. The cognitive dissonance is strong in this one. Anyway, so threads is just kind of basically drama. There's so much Christians on threads. I don't know if it's just because that's the verses I'm or the posts that I'm liking and commenting on more, so I get more of them, the algorithm or whatever. There's a lot of Christians who just espouse the same garbage. So I'm going to call you out right quick, because no one else is going to. No one else. A lot of the YouTube people who show me a lot of deep stuff are like older than me. They're in the 50s or 60s or whatever. They don't go on these types of platforms. So you just got all these young folk espousing all their garbage. And meanwhile, I have like this different kind of wisdom that doesn't need, that these people never heard. And so this guy said, if you don't believe Jesus is the Messiah, you're not a Christian. So I said, why did Jesus tell his disciples not to call him Christ in Matthew 16:20? Maybe because he's the Son of God the Father, not an evil Jehovah's warrior Messiah. No wonder the Jews didn't think Jesus fulfilled their prophecies. He said, if you go verses back, Jesus says to Peter, who do you say I am? Peter says, you're the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus blesses him and blah, blah, blah. And I say, well, Jesus was confirming he's the Son of God, not that he's the Christ. Mark 18:29. Jesus said to him, who do you say me to be? Peter answered, you're the Christ. Jesus rebuked him, said, don't tell anyone that. Then in Luke 9:20, same thing. Who do you say I am? Peter said, the Christ of God. And Jesus charged and commanded them to tell this to no one. And every single thing I've said, well, they didn't want anyone to know yet. I hate that line so much. They didn't want anyone to know Jesus was special. Then why did he tell the disciples to gather thousands of people on the mountains to talk to him? Oh, let's talk truth, but not truth. Don't tell them this, but tell them that. No. If he wanted them to know, they would have known. Then, of course, the people bring up Mark 14:61. Said, are you Christ, the Son of the Blessed? Jesus says, I am. You'll see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of power. But this is where we go into Scriptural Truths YouTube channel. Remember, she looked at the Greek. These people don't know Greek. Said, right. However, in the original Greek, it includes day, a negative particle, which, of course, the English leaves out. Translated as, I am not, but you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of power, etc. This is absolutely false. You're kidding yourself. Someone's feeding you bad info. He didn't say anything about Greek. He just said you're wrong. So I said, so you read the Greek and Hebrew manuscripts like me? You obviously don't know how. You're just a rage baiter. So when name calling doesn't trump Scripture, don't be that prime example and give me Bible, not your babble. This guy, super brainwashed. It's all good though. I don't care. They can live their life, but I'm going to interrupt it. Okay, if you want to start going on the internet, going in public, and not being able to back up your stuff, I'm going to call you out on it. It's kind of my thing. It's kind of like the reason I was put here. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of dumbasses. Excuse my French. Yeah. At the beginning, it was kind of peaceful, but then you just get all this garbage, all these lame Christians who just don't know anything. And Christians are taught to preach the gospel, so of course they're going to go on the internet and say, oh, this is it. Oh, God. I'm like, no, bro. Don't open your mouth until you know why. Don't be conditioned to just talk for talking's sake, or else you're going to spread some false information like everyone's saying I do. If I spread false information, you better back it up with Scripture, not just your opinion. Well, it can't be like that because that's just metaphorical. And, when I call out astrology, Judges 5:20, the stars in their courses fought against Sisera that day during the battle. That's literally the stars affecting the outcome of a battle, aka astrology is real. And then everyone will say, oh, that's just metaphorical. Oh, but when you go to Genesis 1:1, you think the 6 days of creation is literal, but the stars affecting our lives are just metaphorical. Okay, except in Luke 21:25, when Jesus himself said, there'll be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars. Then they want to argue what signs means. And then I'm like, do you know Greek or Hebrew? I just always have to start with ground zero with these numbskulls. And they're taught that their Bible is the Holy Bible, the KJV is the Word of God. And then I'm saying well, if the KJV is inerrant, how come there's hundreds of footnotes from the 1611 edition with different words for different translations the whole time? The KJV you read now is not the KJV that was published They don't put footnotes in the KJV with different alterations. The 1611 did. The one that King James and Francis Bacon and whoever else translated. Okay? So anyway, I know I'm just ranting about the same old crap. But Threads has just kind of escalated it to like, Threads is more like Facebook for Instagrammers, you know? It's like, you don't have to friend people to see their posts. So I'm just bombarded with posts of you know, wannabe textual critics. And you know, that's fine. I'm glad there's a passion there. I just don't want that passion to trump truth. That's one of my main things. That's what Nietzsche even says. One need something about, sorry, what does Nietzsche say about passion? You can be passionate about anything. You know, he was mocking the preachers having so much passion. Like, what does that have to do with truth? People are passionate about watching Game of Thrones. That doesn't mean they know truth. Just because you're excited doesn't mean you're right. Hitler had some charisma. Doesn't mean he's right. Like, don't ever use passion or your heart or your feelings as your source of judgment. If we have the books and the words right there in front of us, a lot of people aren't taking the Bible objectively enough. They're all taking it at face value, and then they wonder why, you know, these atheists can easily call them out on the hundreds of contradictions in the Bible. And then they'll say, like, well, if Yahweh is Satan, that gets rid of 90% of them. Now let's actually go into the other contradictions that are potentially valid due to textual errors, manipulation of the Bible over time, biblical canon and which books are included or not, and why they weren't included. There's like this whole thread of Enoch right now for some reason is trending. The book of Enoch, why it's not included in the Bible. And I put the same reply in all of them. Too many alien references that are obvious. It's not just Ezekiel's wheels within wheels, or the giant Nephilim mating with the women and altering our DNA. It's not just that kind of stuff. Enoch is literally like, he was taken into the skies and he disappeared. And people are like, oh, he just ascended into heaven. No, he didn't. They took him. Okay? And authors like Paul Wallace, you know, are writing about the whole Old Testament is just one secret alien invasion, dude. And that's why Jesus called them vipers. So, you know, and told the Jews, you never knew the Father, buddy. So if they never knew the Father during the entire Old Testament, what's going on? Why? And why are we 2,000 years late? Well, because it's the end times, and this is the time we need to wake up. This is the time where Freemasons are being exposed for all of their secrets that they've been hiding from us, plain sight, you know. And it's just, it's obviously frustrating for believers, but it's even more frustrating for truthers, because not all Christians are truthers. Some Christians still think Earth is flat, but they're too cowardly to go to Antarctica and take a picture of the edge. Then they'll say, oh, it's ice caps. Really? There's ice caps around the entire disk of Earth? Even Deadpool and Wolverine made fun of the flat earthers. It was great. God, it's so funny. Anyway, that's just a little simple rant. There's some more Avatar for you. It's just so pretty. Yay. Yeah, you can just fly, go anywhere. You can go up, down, left, right, in, out. It's getting a little graphic. And this is basically the story of my life. Euripides talks sense to a fool and he calls you foolish. You know, if he is a fool, why would he understand you? It's one thing to have an answer for math, like what's the square root of 3,567,000? There's only one answer. But when you're getting into opinions and the Bible and truth and history and afterlife and what is reality and, you know, are we being deceived? Is there a huge new world order that's secretly being planned? Is there satanic worship at the Olympics? Like, this kind of stuff is scary to people, and it's just so over the top that they don't want to believe it at first because of the implications. But when they keep saying it, then you get scared. There's different phases to truth, y'all. Sorry, I'm almost done. There's different phases to truth. The first one is you gotta want it. Most people don't want it. The second is, when you find it, do you have the courage to accept it? Most people are in denial. The third, after you accept it, what else is there? Like, if this, that, and that are true, if these 5 movies are showing the San Onofre power plants about the end times, where else has it been hidden? Oh, it's in the Egyptian hieroglyphs, the Mayan hieroglyphs. It's everywhere. So, once again, it's like if you open up Pandora's box, Don't expect things to get all comfy and cozy. Because all these Christians are like, oh, just believe in Jesus and you go to heaven, life will be good. What? Ecclesiastes 1:18 says, for in much wisdom is much suffering, and he who increases in wisdom increases in sorrow. Okay? Truth is hard. It's just like Nietzsche says, truth is ugly. Because he's making fun of John Keats, who said truth is beauty, way back when. He's just doing a satire of that. Truth is ugly. And it's not for everyone. Especially these cornbread raised Christians who, believed in Santa Claus more than Jesus as a kid, and then all of a sudden they know Santa isn't real now. Okay, now I guess I'll put my energy towards Jesus instead of praying to Santa for a freaking Xbox. We're just teaching these kids a fantasy world, so you wonder why they're skeptical when you told them, oh, Santa was actually fake, it's all fake. Now, then they're going to think religion is fake and God is fake. See, they're putting people up in an atmosphere to perpetuate secularism and me, selfie. I want to do what I want to do. My opinion's right. If you don't like it, you're offended and you're wrong, but I can believe whatever I want. There's no standard for truth anymore, y'all. Okay? Let alone these crazy truths I'm telling people by using the Bible itself. Matthew 16:20. Tell no man that I'm Christ. Judges 5:20. The stars affect reality. Okay? Hosea 13, God's a lion, a leopard, and the bear. Revelation 13, Satan is a lion, a leopard, and the bear. The scariest part about Christianity is when you use the Bible against them. And when you point out that not everything is a contradiction if you turn it around. The Bible's been turned on its head, y'all. Once again, I'm here to turn it right side up. My destination is no longer a place, rather a new way of seeing. Like, for real, some of these girls especially, they just want to travel and go to Costa Rica and then the Bahamas and then Paris and then Spain, and then they go home and then they're just unfulfilled. They always want to go somewhere and look at something, and then when they sit at home, they're bored and watch the Kardashians or whatever. I'm not trying to say all girls do that. I'm saying you see this pattern on social media where, like, oh, I'm in Jamaica this month and Hawaii next month. Like, is that what your goal is, to just see the world instead of understand it? But I guess I'm a guy and I'm a dorky Aquarius, and I'm probably, they probably get more money than me and whatever it is they do on the internet. And of course, my man Emerson. I can't remember the books I've read any more than meals I've eaten. Even so, they have made me. I love that one. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Anyway, more Avatar in between my ranting. Just traveling Pandora, kicking it with the avatars. And what's cool about this is, like, it's pretty forgiving, Avatar. Like, you can climb up a mountain by just jumping, because avatars are like 10 feet tall, not human size, but you're in a normal forest. So yeah, you can, like, walk down this mountain and not get hurt, like in a normal Far Cry game or whatever. And it's just so fun. And it's so fulfilling. Oh, here's that little horse dude. You can ride this guy around if you want. You can call the flying thing anytime you want, but you have to find the horses sometimes. And then prance around there. It's a big, huge map, dudes. Huge map. I can't wait to fly around some more right now and just wander. I beat the main story mission, but not the scary base 20, like the hardest outpost. I'm still working on that. Boy, it's difficult. Boy, I tell you what. Yeah, anyway. Okay, let's just end it with a random comment that I didn't prepare on. Sweetheart, here, let's go. Here, let's do this. Oh, yeah. Sweetheart, you can't be serious. The answer's in front of you, right in what you posted. They had no clue where it came from, though they thought they did. The verse says that Jews will know where... Oh, sorry. Will not. Sorry, y'all. No. Oops. Where the Messiah comes from. Jesus said, okay, but you do know where I come from. AKA, what does that tell you? We've already gone through this. John 7, right here. John 27, we know where this man Jesus comes from, but when the Christ comes, no one knows where he comes from. And Jesus says, right, you both know me and where I come from. So they said, and the multiple believed him and said, okay, well, when the Christ comes, he won't do more signs than those which this man Jesus has done, will he? The Jews are literally distinguishing between Christ, and they agreed with Christ. If they're agreeing with Christ, then why are they distinguishing Christ with Jesus in the very next sentence if they're agreeing with Christ? I'll write that down later instead of boring out. Let's see what we got here. I don't completely disagree with you. Thanks. See, you got polite people and then you got numbskulls. Scroll up. No, it's just a lot to teach. The Bible explains itself. God controls Satan. Okay, he's ignoring me. So you're going to ignore the verse that says Moses can see God, while John says he can't. And that's not a problem for you. I egg them on. Like, they think I'm some white boy redneck Bible thumping freak. And I'm not a redneck, but I may be the other stuff. But still, give me some leeway. Y'all take it easy. Stay real. Stay truthful. And who's that cool guy who was watching my videos and liked my stuff? Where's my freaking playlists? Playlists, favorites, something to... Yeah, this guy, he made a cool video of stuff that he's showing my channel, and I really appreciate what the LXT BOYX, I don't know, is it Lust? Oh, the Last Boy. Cool. Or no, the Lost Boys, kind of like the vampires. I get it now. Sorry, buddy. Yeah. So, give a shout out to this guy. Oh, he replied, "No, thank you for speaking truth. It's really odd. Not many people really break down the Bible codes and trying to make the right connections." 100. Exactly. Good stuff. Anyway, y'all take it easy. Stay open-minded because it's deeper than you know, and people are taught to be bored of religion and bored at church and bored when reading. But dude, they're taking away all the magic. This is what life is all about, is finding out these codes and proving God's divinity. But they're not letting you look at gematria. They're not letting you look at these deep secrets to keep it boring and to keep you in control and to make you not think about it. And so you're screwed when the time actually comes. Take it easy.